You have to admit that time travel is fascinating. Let's face it, who doesn't want to be able to travel through time? It would certainly make life much more convenient if we could travel to the future and know what would happen, or even go back in time to change something for the better. But does time travel really exist? Is it possible? Are there people who are already traveling through time without us knowing about it? If you're curious to learn the secrets behind time travel, then keep watching this video. We will talk about everything science has revealed about time travel so far. So let's start. Time travel to the past. According to scientists, it is impossible to travel back in time. Even though some people claim they have actually done it, there is no scientific evidence to support these claims. Scientists say that if it were possible to travel back in time, it would cause all kinds of paradoxes that would break the laws of physics as we know them. One example of a paradox that would occur if time travel were possible is the grandfather paradox. This paradox occurs when someone travels back in time and kills their own grandfather before their parent was conceived. This would create a situation in which the person would never have been born, yet they are the one who traveled back in time to kill their grandfather. This paradox has led many scientists to conclude that it is logically impossible for someone to travel back in time. Others argue that the paradox could be avoided if the person who traveled back in time did not actually kill their grandfather. Instead, they could do something else that did not result in the death of their grandfather. However, this argument does not seem to hold much weight because it is impossible to know what would happen if someone traveled back in time. Therefore, it is impossible to say for sure whether or not a paradox would occur. Even if it were possible to avoid paradoxes, there is another problem with time travel to the past. According to Einstein's theory of general relativity, time is relative and it depends on the observer's frame of reference. This means that time would pass differently for someone who is traveling back in time compared to someone who is not. For example, if someone were to travel back in time and visit their younger self, they would appear to be older than their younger self. This would create all sorts of problems, such as how would the younger self react to seeing an older version of themselves? How would the older self interact with the younger self without causing any paradoxes? These are just some of the many problems that would arise if time travel were possible. In addition to the logical and theoretical problems with time travel to the past, there are also practical limitations. According to the laws of thermodynamics, entropy wins every time. This means that disorder always increases over time. Therefore, it would be impossible to travel back in time since it would violate the law of entropy. Another practical limitation is the speed of light. According to Einstein's theory of special relativity, nothing can travel faster than light. This means that even if it were possible to travel back in time, it would take an infinite amount of energy to do so. Therefore, time travel to the past is currently not possible. And according to our current understanding of the laws of physics, it may never be possible. Time travel into the future. Unlike time travel to the past, scientists say that it is possible to travel into the future. In fact, time travel into the future is happening right now. Time would pass more slowly for someone who is traveling at a high speed compared to someone who is not. For example, if someone were to travel on a spaceship at a high speed, they would experience time more slowly than someone who remained on Earth. This means that when the traveler returned to Earth, they would find that less time had passed for them than for the people who remained on Earth. This phenomenon is known as time dilation, and it has been proven by experiments. For example, in 1971, an experiment was conducted using two atomic clocks, one on Earth and the other on a plane. The clock on the plane flew backwards compared to the clock on Earth, which showed that time dilation does occur. Time dilation has also been observed with satellites. For example, the GPS satellites that are used for navigation experience time differently than we do on Earth. Because of this, The clocks on the satellites must be adjusted to account for the difference in time. Although time dilation can be used to travel into the future, it cannot be used to travel to the past. To travel to the past, it would require a negative time dilation. This is because time would have to pass backwards. However, this is not possible according to our current understanding of the laws of physics. Wormholes. Wormholes are tunnels that connect to different points in space-time. They have not been observed, but scientists believe that they may exist. If wormholes do exist, they could potentially be used to travel through time. This is because one end of a wormhole could be located in the past while the other end is located in the future. If this were the case, it would be possible to travel through a wormhole and arrive in a different time period. However, there are many problems with using wormholes to travel through time. One problem is that it would be difficult to find a wormhole that connects to the past. Even if a wormhole were found, it would be dangerous to travel through since the other end could connect to a different time and place than expected. Another problem is that wormholes are thought to be unstable and they could collapse at any time. This would cause anyone who was traveling through the wormhole to be trapped in a different dimension or possibly destroyed. Finally, even if it were possible to navigate a wormhole safely, there is no guarantee that the other end would connect to the past. It is possible that the other end would connect to the future, which would not be helpful for those trying to travel to the past. Overall, although wormholes are theoretically possible, they are highly unlikely to be used for time travel anytime soon. Tipu's cylinder. In 2007, a scientist proposed a new way to time travel called a Tipu's cylinder. A Tipu's cylinder is a device that would use a wormhole to create a closed time-like curve, which is a path in space-time that allows for time travel. By creating a closed time-like curve, it would be possible to travel to the past. However, this device is still only theoretical and it has never been built. There are many problems with this idea, such as the fact that it would require a lot of energy to create a wormhole. Additionally, it is not clear whether or not a Tipu's cylinder would be stable or safe to use. Despite these problems, the idea of a Tipu's cylinder remains an interesting possibility for future time travel research. Scientists are constantly making new discoveries about the universe, and it is possible that they will eventually find a way to travel through time. However, according to our current understanding of the laws of physics, time travel is not possible. While some people claim to have traveled through time, there is no scientific evidence to support these claims. Traveling to the future is possible through time dilation, but it cannot be used to travel to the past. Wormholes are theoretically possible, but they are unlikely to be used for time travel anytime soon. The same goes for Tipu's cylinder. It is still only a theory and there are many problems that need to be solved before it can become a reality. Maybe one day we will be able to travel through time, but until then, it will remain a fascinating topic of science fiction. What do you think? Is time travel possible? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos about space. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.